Hello everybody and welcome to this video. It is a first impressions on the closed beta that took place last weekend. Um, as you know, I always cover action RPGs on this channel, whether it be Path of Exile, Last Epoch, Diablo 3, Diablo Immortal, Torchlight, Undecember. It does not matter what it is, but action RPGs are what I do. Now, for those of you that do not know my experience with action RPGs, the first ever action RPG I would say I played was either like Gauntlet, but aside from Gauntlet, it would probably be D2. I played Diablo 2 before I played Diablo. So I played Diablo 2 back when I was like 13 or 14. And ever since then, I've been hooked. I still have Diablo 2. I have it on the console for the Xbox. I do play PC, but mainly I try to do consoles on when I'm doing these games. So unless it's a game like Last Epoch or Path of X or Last Epoch mainly is the one that I play on PC because you can't play it on console. So I played the beta. I played Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as much as I could. I had to work the weekend, so I didn't get to put in as many hours as everybody else. But kind of my opinions on it are this. First off, the queues were like really bad for like the first day. On the first day, I tried to log in. First, I got the times messed up, so I thought if I was up by 9 o'clock, I'd be able to play from 9 to like 1:30, and then that'd be good. So what ended up happening is it dropped at 11 o'clock my time. I played, and I got to play for like 5 minutes. I got to watch the opening cutscene. I got to kill 2 wolves, and then I got kicked out of the queue. And then I was in queue for like an hour. And then I got to play a little bit, and then I got kicked out again. And I was playing as the barbarian. So from there, day 1 and day 2, mainly I did barbarian play. I will say the barbarian feels more difficult than the other classes because I did try the sorcerer and the rogue, and I will get to them in a second. First off, the combat is great. I love the combat. It feels fluid. It feels like a slight upgrade from D3. The story is really intriguing and kept me entertained the whole time I was playing. I loved reading what people had to say, the cutscenes, everything. Everything was great, and I have an opinion on where the story is going, but it might not be what it is. So my opinion is it's going to be because there is a line in the dialogue talking about the 3. So what I think it's going to be is Anarius versus Lilith versus the 3 primevals, because you can't have a Diablo game without Diablo in the game. It just makes fucking sense. So also the world building was great. I love the world building. Normally you don't get to play in super snowy areas in the Diablo games. But aside from that, like the dungeon, everybody had problems with the dungeons. If people were replaying the dungeons, I didn't replay the dungeons. I didn't have enough time to do that. I never was able to find the butcher either. So I was playing the dungeons and I was just having a good time. The barbarian, having the skill tree they have is actually really cool, where you have the ability to hit the nodes that you want and then you go down. My biggest complaint with Diablo 3 was that the barbarian had no wiggle room for anything. You had all these set abilities and there was no customization. There's no customization for the barbarian. And in D4, it seems like there is customization. Like I can go different routes. I also figured there's some skills that weren't benefiting what I was doing. So what I did is I did the double swing frenzy, and once I got that, then I switched to I got whirlwind, but then I found there's an ability that's in there now. It's called upheaval, which if you play Path of Exile is like Sunder. Hit the ground, does a lot of damage, really good at work. Leap was a movement skill that I had, and then I took it away because I didn't need it. Because I want to be able to control where I'm at, because the bosses just hit super hard when you're a barbarian. And yes, I know that some people like the super difficult, but when I wasn't finding legendary gear, I wasn't finding good weapons. I was barely skating by until level 18. Once I hit level 18, I felt like there was, I believe it's called Pit Fighter. Pit Fighter is a good passive skill to have because it increases how much damage you can take. And for the final boss of Act 1, that really helped out. The final boss of Act 1 was the only boss I really had problems with when I was playing. So that was good. One problem I have is level scaling. So when you're having level scaling, yes, I understand they want you to keep playing, and if you're too high of a level, you won't go back to other areas. But when you're playing and level scaling is a factor, you don't feel any power level. I did not feel like I was getting stronger with the barbarian. So let's move on to the other classes real quick. Now, the reason why I don't know why this is, the barbarian didn't feel super powerful. From Mark 1 on the sorcerer, I felt way too powerful. So there's an ability that you can get right off the bat, which is like a lightning shock. So it bounces from enemy to enemy and can even bounce off yourself. And if you put points into that and then put another point in to extend the range, you can just destroy content. Now, yes, mana becomes a problem, but then there's a node that you can unlock right off the bat, which is to increase your mana. And I was finding weapons that would, as I hit people, my mana would recharge. So I was doing a straight up shock build. So only lightning abilities, and I had shock, and then I had like the arc attack with lightning. And I was having no problem. I got that character to level 15, and that wasn't a problem. The rogue, I only played like 20, 30 minutes with, but the rogue was able to. It's also a powerful character because you have your movement skills. You can do what I was doing is I was doing bow and daggers. So up close and personal, the dagger hits, far away, you use the bow. So the balancing aspect, I don't think was working. There was also some glitches where some quests weren't working. I couldn't finish some of the quests. But all in all, like, there's a lot of people that are complaining about the loot drops, the itemizations. I don't have a problem with it. My biggest complaint is that you have. So, Diablo 4 is going to be one of the biggest action RPG games of the year. Bar none. There's nothing bigger. Some of us have been waiting 5 years for this game or longer. I've been waiting a long time for this game. Super excited, super stoked. I have no issues when the game comes out. I can deal with the issues that I saw. So, Path of Exile players are coming into this game. People that are exclusively Path of Exile players. I do like Path of Exile. Do I love Path of Exile? No, I do not. Simply because there is so many mechanics in there that are super complicated that you have to know exactly what you're doing, when you're doing it, and all the issues with it. Because you got to know the right skill gems, where to find the right skill gems, what abilities work, what abilities do not work. You got to locate certain weapons in order to do a lot of damage. In Path of Exile, you got to have a certain amount of resistances to actually make it far enough, and it's just the super complicated mess. And like, I had to teach my wife how to play the game, because that game is one that it took me years to figure out what I needed to do. And for that, a shout out to Pox. If you're into like Path of Exile, Pox Kappa, look him up on YouTube. He's your best bet learning Path of Exile stuff. But they're coming into this and they have an idea of what they want. They want super complicated weapons and armor with all these different affixes, and they're going for a more simplified route. And one of the biggest complaints I saw is that people were saying, "Oh, you just go until if it's green, that's when you change it." No, it could be green, but then you look at the stuff that's on it, and it could change your whole build and how that's working. But that's not something that people are looking at. So I think people aren't giving this game enough credit. There's people that are asking for refunds for the game because they're upset. So all in all, I really liked the beta, and I think it's very good. The beta is very good. We're going to have another round of the beta. And 2 characters. One, you have Necromancer, and it's not a DLC character. Number 2 is a character we have not been able to play in a Diablo game since Diablo 2, the expansion, and that's the Druid. And I'm really curious how they're going to balance the werewolf, the werebear. I saw there's lightning abilities, which when I was playing Diablo 2 Resurrected today, I didn't really see lightning abilities. I'm very curious, but I want people to remember this is an evolution of the series. And this is not an MMO. It is an action RPG. But it's not D2 and it's not D3. It's a completely new version of the game. It is the evolution of the series, a series that's been going on since like 1996. And I've played every game in the series. I even played Diablo Immortal, Diablo, both the expansion for Diablo 2, the expansion for it, Diablo 3, and the expansion for it. I put in thousands of hours into this series, and I'm so excited that come June, we'll be able to play the full game. And remember, this is a beta, which means they're probably working on a new version of this game. They're just trying to make sure the bugs are fixed, and that's what they're worried about. So don't forget the open beta is open to the entire public come Friday. And I believe you can install the open beta on Wednesday, I believe. So go ahead, make sure you're ready for it. There'll probably be queues because it's going to be everybody has the ability to play this game. So this has been Chucky. You can follow me also, Crazy Hero Rise, at twitch.tv, where I stream on there as well. You can also find me on Twitter at Crazy Hero Rise. I am also the owner of Hero Rise Toys and Games, and you can find that on Facebook. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.